that our own decision-making allows us. We can say we want to go from here to here, and they'll tell us the best route and drive the car for us so that we get there promptly and on time. Incredibly complicated problem to do. It sounds a bit crazy, doesn't it?
Well, and end to traffic jams?
End of traffic jams. It's just so much more computational power that would be available. So everybody could have access to all the levels of artificial intelligence for their own decision-making, to remove the humdrum drudgery of everyday thought about boring things, and they could spend all their time thinking about the things that they like to think about.
Dr. James, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Dr. Daniel James teaches at the University of Toronto.
Interview 4 is now over. Interview 5 will begin now.
The problem with changing the world, of course, is that it's so labor-intensive. I mean, all that work transforming and reinventing, all the heavy lifting of revolution and innovation. What might be nice is a little help. A technology that would do some of the hard work of changing the world for us. Something like, say, a humanoid robot. Now, there are, of course, lots of useful robots already. Just take a look inside any modern manufacturing facility and you'll find specialized robots doing difficult and complicated tasks. But, sadly, there are very few robots doing really useful things, like filling the dishwasher, raking the leaves, helping the elderly or the infirm with the physical tasks they're no longer up to. So, scientists are very interested in building robots that are more like C-3PO or Commander Data, robots that could really change the world. Dr. Josh Bongard, an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science at the University of Vermont, is one of those scientists. So, Dr. Bongard, I'm curious, why are humanoid robots so hard to build?
Humanoid robots are particularly challenging technology in that in order to look like us, they need to be able to act like us. And one of the most difficult things to do is to keep your balance. It seems kind of silly, but if you need to keep your balance on 2 feet, you're actually balancing all the time. So just walking or getting from point A to B is much more difficult to do with the humanoid robot compared to another robot that might look, for example, more like a cockroach or like a dog or a cat.
Okay, so other than walking, what are some of the other challenges that you face when you try to build a robot that looks like a human?
One of the challenges, aside from walking, is how do you get a humanoid robot or a robot in general to do several things at once? So there's some great examples of humanoid robots coming out of Japan. One of them is able to play the violin very well. Another one is able to play the flute very well. There's a robot from MIT that's able to juggle very well. But again, all of these very sophisticated machines are doing just a single task, although doing that task very well. So we as humans, one important aspect of human intelligence is that we're able to do several things at once. So we can walk and carry on a conversation with a friend, carry a heavy bag of groceries, while at the same time thinking in the back of our mind about whether we forgot anything at the grocery store. So being able to coordinate and do several things at once is a challenge that we really don't know how to do in robotics, and particularly with humanoid robots.
I wonder if the one that plays the violin enjoys the music.
That's another good question. So another expectation that people have of a technology like humanoid robotics is that if a humanoid robot looks like us, we expect it to act like us. And of course, human intelligence or human behaviors are very sophisticated compared to simpler behaviors that are carried out by animals. So myself and a whole bunch of other robotics researchers are trying to build robots that don't particularly look like humanoid robots, but are able to master simple behaviors like moving around and locomotion. Once they're able to learn how to walk or move, perhaps they can use a pair of their legs to pick up an object and carry it somewhere else. So can we gradually build a series of robots that exhibit increasingly sophisticated behaviors and gradually work our way up from insect-like robots or dog and cat-like robots up towards eventually humanoid robots, rather than starting with this difficult challenge of humanoid robots?
But do we even need the humanoid robots if they're able to do all these things? Why do they have to look like us?
Well, one of the obvious advantages of humanoid robots, if we were able to build them, is that they would find themselves in a world that's already designed for human-sized and human-shaped intelligent entities, of course, us. If you have a very small robot, it's going to have a very difficult time reaching up for the doorknob in order to open a door. In the same way, a humanoid robot might be able to very easily walk up stairs that are designed for human-sized entities.
I guess it is kind of hard to imagine cockroaches loading the